On today's episode, we go car camping and unexpectedly we go off-roading. I heard a crunch. Crunch is not good, folks. I wasn't expecting this. I really hope that I can make it through. I'll share with you the story of the first time I went car camping. I've never told anyone this story, so it's going to be pretty interesting when... Have a guess in the comments on how I started getting into car camping and the first time I ever did it. Someone hit the car. Doesn't look like any damage though from underneath. My first night sleeping in a vehicle went really well, actually. I'd been working 2 jobs, so I was pretty tired. I was renting an apartment in Manchester. I was living with a girlfriend at the time, and at the start of the month she bailed, and at the end of the month it just so happened to be the lease was over. At the time I was working 2 jobs, so I was working in a place called Maplin Electronics, which was a small electronics store in Manchester, and then on the evenings I'd work in a bar. After working all day in the store and then over to the bar to work on the evening shift, I returned home to find an empty apartment and a note just basically saying goodbye. And so a few days passed, and then I called up the letting agent that I was hiring the place from, and it was basically the 6-month agreement. That was the final month, so I said, look, I don't want to renew it at the end of the month. And then I went into work one day and I just started speaking to a few people. Do you mind if, do you have a spare room? Do you know anybody who's looking for a tenant or anything like that? A few hours go by and I get taken up to the office. And so I go and speak to the manager in the store. And so the conversation, starts off, common courtesy, how are you, blah, blah, blah. And then he asked me about my kind of living situation. And it says, well, at the end of the month, I'm going to have to find somewhere else. I'm currently looking for somewhere. And, he kind of smiles and nods and goes, okay, well, what's this about this second job that you have? So I explained to him that when I started working at the Maplin Electronics, it's closed now. I've been hired for a full-time job, but they're only rather than giving me 5 days, they're only giving me 3 days, which meant I needed to subsidise it somehow, and I'd worked in bars for many years. And so I ended up working behind a bar and then kind of getting the hours there. The conversation went along the lines of, you can't have a second job, it's either this place or the other place. Now the bar wouldn't give me enough work either, which is why I was trying to juggle both places. And with places like retail and hospitality, if there's no hours available, then or it's slow, then you end up getting your time cut down, which obviously means you're on a varied wage. And when you've got a fixed expense such as an apartment to lease out, it becomes a bit problematic. And so he ends up saying, like, look, we can't have you working here because you're a guy who's down on his luck. What happens if you, I don't know, grab the till and make a run for it? We've got no place to track you down or anything like that. So basically he says, pack your stuff, you gotta go. And so basically I ended up having no job there and then working behind a bar. We reached the end of the month and then basically ended up going and grabbing all my stuff on the last day, throwing it in the car. So the car at the time that I was driving was a 1-litre Vauxhall Corsa. It was a V-Reg 1999, and it was obviously smaller, much smaller than my setup now. I mean, this is very much glamping in comparison to what I was doing before. So let me have you a quick show. The way I've managed to get the induction hob working and the coffee machine is this Bluetti power station, and the Bluetti power station gets charged by my Charger 1. As I drive, it charges it, or I'm doing a solar at home. My small little car, so I've never owned a lot of things, so I'm not a materialistic person at all. If you do watch the channel, you will see that I do own a boat, but if you check the cupboards, they're empty. It's basically just tools and kind of a place that I hang out from time to time. Really appreciate the feedback from the boat tour videos. I'm going to try and do some more of them. But we'll get back to the story. So I emptied my apartment of my 1 suitcase of clothes, desktop computer and a TV. I don't even own a TV now, I just use a laptop. And that's basically what I had going on in there. Now the car that I had was owned by boy racers before, so it looked like a big remote control car, so it had a body kit on there. The windows on the vehicles were tinted, like the side ones here, but the rear one wasn't, so for that I had the parcel shelf in there which hid all my stuff. I've never told anyone this story, so it's going to be pretty interesting when my mum and aunt who watch my videos see this. I couldn't go home to my family home because my aunt and uncle were moving to Ireland at the time, and they were having a house built, so they were taking up one of the rooms. And my sister had also become single at the same time and moved in with my parents, which meant there was no room basically. And of course I already had a job there, and I was going for a few interviews, and I was trying to arrange stuff there because Manchester is way better than it is in Birmingham. I had a lot of fun there when I went to uni, because I went to Bolton Uni, you see, which is the neighbouring city. I'd spent the 2 weeks near Didsbury in Manchester, which is a kind of a nicer upscale area, just kind of parked down a road nearby someone's house, so kind of blended in pretty well. The reason I was waiting around for a couple of weeks was to get my security deposit back, which was £1,000, which I didn't actually get back in the end, frustratingly. £1,000 now is a lot of money, but back in 2008 was a hell of a lot more. This was summer in 2008, and as we started approaching autumn time, I was speaking to a guy in a bar that I'd been working with, and his name was Gus. And he was moving into a student accommodation because he was a second-year student, to a place called Fellowfield, which is a very good area, actually, very student-y, really nice parties and stuff. And so I ended up moving in, and I was there for a total of 2 months. And the house consisted of me in my room, him and his girlfriend in another room, and then this girl who lived in downstairs. Now, the one time we're on a night out, we ended up going out, just me and the two girls, because he went back. So he's actually from Birmingham as well. And his girlfriend was just kind of like, can I pretend to be your girlfriend? You know, so other guys don't try it on with me, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. Anyway, we go out, we have a good night out and stuff. And I go back to the house. Silly o'clock in the morning, we're all pretty drunk. And anyway, she comes into the room and starts talking to me, and then she basically starts making a bit of a move on me, and I'm just like, look, I'm gonna go for a shower and then just gonna go sleep and everything, so please don't be in the room when I get back. A few weeks go by, the girls have gone, and Gus is there. I finished working in the bar and come back, and he's just like, I want to talk to you. And basically he made out that I tried it on with her and everything, and basically out the door I was sent again. So I didn't, with that apartment, I didn't have any like tenancy agreement or anything. It was just a kind of I just gave them cash every month for the rent and everything. So anyway, back in the car I went with my lovely suitcase and desktop and everything. This is why I have a gaming laptop now, by the way. So yeah, out again, and you know, I end up meeting you know, a friend of a friend from uni, and they lived ironically in the same apartment I lived in Manchester. And so I ended up basically staying at theirs for the majority of the time. This period of my life was about 7 months where I was kind of sofa surfing. So mostly I was staying in this one place where it's a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was 2 couples. Now these guys, they loved their Mary Jane, we'll say. They had a lot of downtime and they were in the apartment together. Now I was sleeping on the floor in the living room. So I was working in the bar, I was working in another store during the day, so I was working 2 jobs again to try and build my money back up, because remember, the deposit wasn't paid back to me, so I was basically £1,000 down. I end up sofa surfing on their floor, which means I can basically sleep anywhere, so I've never been fussed about that. And I also try a few other places. So one is again in someone's living room on a fold-out sofa bed, which is obviously far better than the floor. And then a friend of mine who I'd met working in a carvery while I was in uni. So he became my travel buddy, so we've been all over the world together, so like India, Vietnam, and all these type of places. And I am trying to save up to buy a van, because again, my living situation is going to be changing soon, as for the most part I live with my parents still, between hotels for work. So I'm going to be down in London this week. Next week hopefully I'm going to go back to the boat and do another boat tour video, because I know those have been well received. But I don't really live anywhere full time, so I'm in hotels a lot, traveling around a lot. And before all my accident and everything, which you can find out in another video, I'll leave that tagged in the description. I work at a lot of festivals, so basically car camp there rather than going to the staff area, because those, you know, parties go on till silly o'clock in the morning a lot of the time. A lot of my car camping now tends to be more kind of like Brecon Beacons, because you can go on like things like the waterfalls, trails, and going around. It's a really nice area. I've never been to Cannock Chase before, but it is raining, which is why I'm making this type of video instead of going out hiking. After sofa surfing for about 7 months in total, my aunt and uncle, they had moved over to Ireland, so the space was available. I couldn't really keep going the way that I was doing with, you know, the low variable hours and things like that. So I ended up going home, and then then I started signing up for event agencies, and with that I ended up starting to do road shows. So I spend a lot of time in hotels. The money was a lot better. I used to get paid about the same as a nurse or a teacher without any formal qualifications, because I dropped out of uni, and the money was good, the work was available. You'd work with about 3 different agencies and you'd get work consistently, and that when they phone you, they actually genuinely wanted to know what you're up to, rather than just the common courtesy it is now. Over the years it's become a very saturated market, so this week I'm only actually working 3 days. I really need a bit more, because it's time to get the boat out this year, anti-fouling and all that type of stuff. A few of the projects that I want to do this year is, one is to kind of help my parents out. They've been on holiday this week, and each day it's just been me and the house, and I'm spending between £4 and £5 on electric. The heating is not on. My laptop was being charged by my Bluetti, so it's just like, where is all this electricity going? I mean, it's expensive by unit anyway. So what I'm trying to do is take what I've learned from the boat and installing like the solar and all the stuff on that, and then replicate that but at a slightly larger scale on my folks' house. So solar panels now are very cheap. So I've got 2 430 watt panels that I use to charge my Bluetti power station, and they were £60 each from CST Plumbing. So I estimate that I can get about 10 panels on the garage roof. So I'm hoping to mount panels on there. Inverters have come down a lot in price now, so a Victron one is about £500, and then the solar chargers, they're about 100 quid each now. So I think I'm going to use maybe 3, 4. I'm going to build it modular, because they do want to downsize. So basically I want to put it in some kind of flight case where I can kind of pack it all up when they do leave, take it to wherever they're doing, and then set it up again. Another thing that I want to do is I'm saving for a van. So if you've watched my car camping videos before, or any of the other content, especially the car repair ones, you do know that I am saving up to buy a van, and this is because there's probably not going to be that much room for me when they finally move. So luckily there's no for sale signs outside the house at the minute, so fingers crossed they keep dragging the heels on it. And then another one is with the boat, where I'm putting like a solar arch and lithium batteries, and getting it ready for when I eventually do cast off and go off sailing. So I do want a kind of seasonal cruise where I'm spending several months going off and back and forth. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. So basically a lot of it is just like helping them out, really. This is what I made today: Mediterranean eggs or shukshula. I do like car camping. It's a nice little hobby of mine. So other than working 3 days this week, I literally have nothing going on. But it's quite easy to get into if you have a car, because you don't really need anything too special. You can start off with just some blankets and a pillow, and go out and see if you do like it. It's me go to different places I've never been to, like here at Cannock Chase. I'm gonna brave the weather and just go out, so hopefully find a nice little place to go to. If you've got some blankets and a pillow and a car, that's basically you pretty much almost done there. You can kind of level it up as you go along with cooking inside. That was really delicious, so I got all my washing up ready for home. So I'm just going to put this in the bag, pack all my kitchen stuff, put it back in the bag, throw that in the roof box, and then get the mattress down into here and show you the sleeping setup. This is the stay at the road for Iran, so I had to do a bit of off-roading. During the day I keep the sleeping stuff in the roof box as it takes up a lot of volume, and then I have the cooking stuff inside ready to go, so I can just turn up, start cooking, relax a little bit, and then I do a rotation. So this is the rotation stage here where I'm swapping them over. Behind the passenger side, the big box there is the power station. Above the box is a grate which has the Bluetti Charger 1, which charges the station as I drive. Be one of those self-inflating ones which puts air in here. When you want it out, you pull that one out, but it slowly inflates over time. So my seats don't actually fold flat, so there is a bit of a ridge there. So I just put my umbrella just here for now. You can just blow on it here, but the more you do it, the firmer the mattress gets. So if you want it softer, you don't blow it up as much. Just put it back in. It's going to be 0 degrees tonight, centigrade, so got double blankets. Got my clothes ready to get changed in the car later. These are my window covers ready to go on again later on, but while it's light you can still see. Basically they just hide everything. So although they're tinted, when I've got my light on you can see inside without these. So I've got them for all of the covers. I have my laptop table with me so I can put the laptop out, and if there's no signal I'll then edit this video, and if there is signal I'll probably do some gaming. Got my extension rod which will go above the handles there, and the blanket will go on the other side. So it looks like a normal car from the front area. I'm going to head to the Cannock Chase Visitor Centre now, but first of all I need to escape here. So let's go, and then we'll find somewhere to park up later. I'm trying to condense the video, so I've actually sped up quite a lot of the car scenes. I heard a crunch. Crunch is not good, folks. This is the view from inside the car. You can see how much I'm kind of wobbling around. I'm going to speed up the footage just so the video doesn't get too long, but you can see how treacherous the roads are. To international viewers, this is not a regular road, by the way. Although we do have a lot of speed bumps and potholes, this is a bit more of an extreme side road. I eventually made it out to the main road. I made it to Cannock Chase Park. One of the good things about not having a traditional regular job is it's Tuesday today and I'm in Cannock Chase Park. And there's not many people. I met a dude in the car park and I just asked him a few questions about the trails, and then basically that's all I've seen so far, and I've been here for about 10 minutes. Thanks by the way everyone who's left comments, questions and feedback for the videos. Quite a popular ones so far have been the boat tour playlists. I've done a Bavaria 36, my Sonata C40, my friend's Sonata C45 and a Nauticat 33. So those are 4 tours available right now. Hoping to be back on the boat pretty soon in order to do a few more. I've already got 2 other people who want to share their boats with you. If you're coming from the car maintenance side of the channel, I'm going to be changing the boost pipe shortly, along with an oil change. Now my sump plug is still stuck, so I'm going to get the heat gun from the boat and bring it back home to do that. So that's probably going to be about a month away. Let's get back behind the wheel and find out the parking spot. I spotted this small side road and went down it, and it's actually Camp Chase Takaroo. It was £15 a night to park there. I'll finish with the window covers a little bit later, and then I'll move the net curtain back across later. But then I've already put the window coverings on because there's a dude just here. But yeah, the bed's comfortable and everything, so I'll get changed to where I am, which is always quite fun. I've got the bag just behind me with the clothes in, but other than going to sleep, I think that's it. So I'm going to wrap it up now, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for being fans. Like the video if you did, welcome if you subscribed, and hopefully I'll do some more boat tour videos, and let me know what you want to see, and that's what I'll do. So yeah, see you later. I'm just going to go and enjoy the rest of Cannock Chase now.